Welcome to EHS Nights News. I'm Tristan.
And I'm Owen. The Culinary Arts program had a special guest appearance from a famous chef.
A chef with, all this kind of stuff in a live audience, which is...
Ellington High School received a special guest appearance from famous chef Anne Frances Gass talking about her new heirloom kitchen cookbook. During the hour-long event, many classes were involved in making this happen. While Miss Gass was explaining one of her recipes to the school, in the culinary classroom, 2 special students were following along, step by step, creating her food. How did you guys get the opportunity to do this?
So both of us are teacher assistant. I'm currently a teacher assistant in Mr. Hellman's class for Culinary Arts, and I love baking, so as Mr. Hellman told me about this opportunity, I was in.
And I'm also the TA for baking and pastries, and in baking and pastries we actually made this as one of the trial runs, and Mr. Hellman told me about this opportunity, and of course it sparked my interest, and of course I wanted to do it, so.
Alright, and what was it like being instructed by her and following along?
You want to go first? I think it was great. It was just a nice experience to do something like that with a chef who is professional, and just to gain more experience in the kitchen and stuff like that.
I thought it was a really interesting experience because it also, I feel embodied a lot of what Ellington High School does and promoted a lot of, especially the kitchen and what we do in here, and I thought it was a really good experience, and I'm glad I was able to be a part of it.
How did you get in contact with Anna Gass?
So it actually wasn't through me, it was through Mrs. Hartling, our library media specialist. She had a connection through R.A. Julia bookstore down in Madison, Connecticut, and through HarperCollins, which is the publishing company. We were able to get Miss Gass in here, and it was perfectly because it tied in thematically to a couple different classes that are being offered here at the high school, and Mrs. Hartling asked us to be able to produce one of her recipes, so Mrs. Gass actually picked the recipe for us, and then we just kind of followed through on it.
Okay, what are your thoughts about her book?
So I got an opportunity to look through it very briefly because this was kind of quickly put together, but I love its premise. I love the fact that you have the opportunity to tell stories, and a lot of times when we're talking about culinary arts, it's the stories behind the food that make the food even more interesting. We eat with our eyes, but we also eat with our ears. What we hear, what we see has an impact on how well that food is, and if it's coming from a different country or a different part of our country, it makes it much more interesting, and people have more of an opportunity to want to entice and be enticed for that.
This has been Bobby Boucher reporting with EHS Nights News.
Our teams were out in the field covering all angles of United Week. The week began on Monday with Eric Jackson, a motivational speaker. Here's Dom reporting.
Eric Jackson, a speaker, taught Ellington students what it is like to be yourself and be respectful upon one another.
And I thought, these are gonna be my boys for life. This is who we gonna be. Da, 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 da. And then all of a sudden, I had this idea, this epiphany. And the epiphany was, I am going to college.
We spoke to Miss Clofer, and here's what she had to say about the assembly.
How did you feel about Eric Jackson's performance last week?
I liked what he had to say. I agree that you should be able to be yourself without caring what other people think. I just believe that in that process of doing that, you have to make sure that you're considering other people's feelings when you go about totally being yourself.
During United Week, students are asked to help paint the mural with their handprints to be displayed in the school.
We will also be painting a mural, and we encourage you to come during your study halls and free time to come and contribute. You'll be hearing more about this at the end of our assembly.
Reporting for EHS News, this is Dominic Mangiafico.
United Week concluded with a pep rally. Here are some highlights.
Ellington High School recently finished up its annual United Week with the Unified versus Varsity basketball game and pep rally. The game was complemented with a halftime show from Ellington's color guard and cheer team. The event was a great time all around, with the Unified team pulling off a big win. We got to talk to the Unified coach and one of the varsity players about the game. What impact does this event have each year?
I think it's huge. I think that to promote awareness of the program, I think that to promote acceptance of all people, but most importantly, I think a program like this is a huge celebration of the school. We had the Unified team, we had the varsity athletic teams, we had color guard, we had cheer, and everybody in the crowd was great. So it was a huge celebration of our school and culmination of the week. It's a very important event.
I think it's a good event to bring the community together of like Ellington High School, and just gives an opportunity for us as like student athletes to connect with like obviously like the Unified team and just spread a positive message throughout the school.
How important is it to do events like this?
I think the event, certainly in the short term, brings us all together. I think that it promotes huge awareness for Unified and Special Olympics. I think that it's a tradition that people look forward to every single year, which, as high schoolers, we need things to keep us going, right? And I think this is one of those days. If you looked in the stands, everybody had a smile on their face the whole time.
I think it's really important because just with how things are today in like our world and school, how things like everyone like has like opinions about stuff and how like people dislike a lot of people. So I think it's good to just be able to bring everyone together and just have like a good happy moment.
How does this event boost student morale and school spirit?
I think it brings us together, which we need certainly in times like these. I think it makes us proud of our school and each other. I think that it promotes awareness of things or people we may not be aware of all the time. But the big thing is that, you take a thing like basketball, where it's the same game no matter who's playing it. So you see people with and without disabilities playing the game together. So that's certainly a camaraderie thing. It brings a lot of people together.
I think it definitely boosts school spirit as much as like obviously like I got booed and everyone got booed. I think it was just a good environment all together, and how it was just we were able to get obviously our whole school there, and like we were just able to have like such a great time. Like, especially I know the Unified kids had a great time, and it's just a good like little thing to put on for everyone to watch.
This week was a great success and helped bring us all together. This is Josh Wilkie and Tim Scott reporting.
Thank you for watching EHS Nights News. We'll see you next time.